Hi, my name is Rodolphe Barangu. I'm a co-founder and CSO of Trico, and we are the North Carolina tree company. Our company goal is to combine decades of insights in tree genetics with the disruptive power of genome editing to breed a better, healthier, and more sustainable forest. Now, forestry is a $700 billion global industry, and trees encompass actually 60% of the carbon biomass on the planet. This field is ripe for a tech push between delays in adoption of molecular breeding and the rise and advent of CRISPR-based technologies. We are located in North Carolina because the southern US is the wood basket of the world. The US is actually the #1 producer and the #1 user of wood products, and this region accounts for almost 20% of the global wood supply and represents over 50 million acres of forest. So we are providing access to CRISPR-based breeding platforms to fuel R&D in the forestry industry. We're targeting 3 major markets: timber, think construction; chemicals, think biofuels; and primarily fiber, think paper and pulping. Breeding obviously also covers classical ag traits for a sustainable forest with environmental resistance, drought resistance, pest and disease resistant like insects and fungi. We have assembled all the key ingredients we need to commercialize a platform and make it accessible to all foresters. The process starts with a machine learning-based model that tells us what the genetic targets are. We then deploy CRISPR-based genome editing technologies to precisely and efficiently target those genes. We deliver those payloads and regenerate trees, all in commercially relevant elite germplasm. We've secured the IP and the critical proprietary know-how that we need, and we've been able to do this all to date with non-dilutive funding. So far, we've been able to actually breed and generate CRISPR-edited trees. We have altered their genotypes to change the composition of the fibers that constitute those trees. Our approach enables 10 times faster breeding. We go from a process that takes approximately 10 to 15 years down to 10 to 12 months. This approach is safer, it's DNA-free, non-GM. It enables the genesis of more genetic diversity and an easier and faster regulatory path. We've carried out multiple proof-of-concept projects in several key species like poplar, Christmas trees, hemlocks, and pine. To date, we've worked on 3 primary proof-of-concept projects illustrating how fast we can actually execute from design to trees in the greenhouse. We've covered projects that encompass chemical, pulping, and sustainability projects all the way through the harvesting stage. We've performed an advanced technical-economic analysis that enables us to assess the actual potential financial impact of edited trees on a pulping mill. We can generate tremendous savings of $27 a ton. And think about it, a mill on average would process in excess of 1 million tons per year. This equates to free cash flows of about $80 to $90 million per mill, and net present values north of $700 million over the life course of the project. Our business model is based on strategic partnerships with leading foresters, and we have a matrix of partnerships by business segment, geography, and tree species of interest. We've assembled a world-class team of forestry veterans and CRISPR experts that bring best-in-class science and technology. We've also gathered industry veterans and successful entrepreneurs so we can translate science from the lab to the forestry and the market. The company is co-located with the Forestry Biotechnology Group, spearheaded by our co-founder Jack Wang. We have access to 8,000 square feet of lab space, 3 greenhouses, and state-of-the-art facilities. This is a mixed space on NC State's campus, combining academic labs and adventurous, innovative startup company. We've divided a 3-tier revenue model aligned with forestry timelines and operations. First, with funding of R&D development projects, followed by milestone payments as we expand into the forest, and eventually licensing fees so we can capture the savings for our partners. With regards to company growth and investment opportunities, we're currently at the stage of partnership engagement, and we're looking for investments to build a dedicated facility in 2022 so we can expand our infrastructure, expand personnel, and scale up a forestry operation. We thank you for your time and the opportunity, and we trust that you can see the combination of key ingredients we've assembled is going to enable us to breed a healthier, better, and more sustainable forest.
Jack Wang is assistant professor in the Department of Forestry and Natural Resources at North Carolina State University and a co-founder of TRICO, the North Carolina Tree Company, which is emerging from stealth mode this year.
There are species in trees, entire forests that are in jeopardy due to the effects of climate change and the invasive pests and pathogens, drought, and all the related associated effects. So, in addition to the famous American chestnut and hemlock stories that I just described, and if we refer to the 2019 National Academy of Science report on forest health and biotechnology, you'll see that, the USDA has conducted very, very extensive surveys of plant health and forest health and diseases, and noted that in the next 10 or so years, 33 million hectares of forest in the US alone, 25% of which are at risk of losing all of its tree plantations due to the effects of climate change. So there's never been a more pressing need for technologies and innovations to address these issues if we want to continue to preserve the health and sustainability of our environment.
Great audience questions coming in. I'd like to just jump in with one of them from Louise, which asks, are there concerns about the impact of these engineered plants and trees on indigenous or native pollinators? And will these genetically modified species fit into the existing ecosystem?
The longevity of trees, where anything that goes into the field stays for decades, sometimes hundreds of years if used for sustainability conservation issues. The biocompatibility with the existing ecosystems, of course, a critical issue, and the biosafety thereof is something that we heavily looked into. And to date, with the tremendous body of work that has been produced, there has been no evidence that the biotech trees or plants in general have any real negative impact on the sustainability of the ecosystem. Of course, that is when the scientists follow the responsible research and innovation guidelines and are aware and do the work up front in a controlled greenhouse setting to ensure that whatever work that is done is compatible with the native species. And of course, there are, as Wendy and Chloe both mentioned, that is the unique advantage of the CRISPR approach, where a DNA-free modality allows the production of plants that are genetically indistinguishable from natural variants. So these are organisms, plants, and trees that can be found in nature. So that is how the USDA really defines the CRISPR technology that has been deregulated. So in that sense, as a natural selection process is used in similar to the CRISPR variants, we don't anticipate there to be any real surprises that will lead to significant detrimental effects when these are deployed.